Hey guys, I'm Katie Bertrand. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. If you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Today I'm going to be talking about how I use my Sawgrass 800 sublimation printer, and I'm going to print a couple of designs on some face masks for an order that I have. So first I'm going to show you my computer screen. I'm going to flip the camera. So this is my computer screen. I use Corel software to bring in all my images, and this is the template of the face mask, so I can drag my images over here and just make sure that they fit in there correctly. And what I like to do is print on a large piece of paper, and then I can load up a bunch of designs instead of just trying to print small paper all the time. So this square is representing the paper I'm using, which is 13 by 19 that I order from Johnson's Plastics, and I'll put some links in the comments below. If you have any questions, be sure to leave me a comment. So I have actually already gone ahead and printed this. So I print right here is my sublimation printer, kind of wedged in the corner here. So all my designs are on my piece of paper, which is really nice because then I can get a bunch of designs printed at once. So now what I'm going to do is I've got my heat press right here behind me, right here. It is a Hotronix autoclam, and I'll put you all on the tripod for a second. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut apart my designs, and then we'll press them and I'll show you how pretty they come out. So let me grab my paper scissors. So let's see here. I really like using the sublimation process. It's really fun. You can do a lot of things. I also cut vinyl, so the perk of sublimation is you don't have to do all that weeding, which is very nice. So I have my heat press set at 400 degrees, and I'm checking the time. Turn it down just a little bit. So I'm putting the time on 35 seconds because a lot of the things I press are usually, like the shirts and things, are usually around 45 seconds. It can be a little more, but these particular masks that we are using don't need that much time. They print really nicely. So these are single layer masks that have the adjustable ear holes, and then I know this is white, but if you can see those lines, this is the back side, and it has a built-in filter. So I'm going to lay these out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to press as many that will fit on here at one time, because time is money. So you just want to be able to, and you can put several on here, which is really cool. I'm going to not lock this down, but I'm going to lightly press. It just gets a little bit of the wrinkles out of this particular mask. Okay, so now I'm going to take my design, and since the screen rotates it, you should be able to read that, but what I like to do is I hold my design up to the light, just make sure that it is turned the proper way. So you can hold it up, make sure you can see your design through there, and then lay it on here. And on these masks, it's pretty easy to just eyeball it. Let me bring you a little closer here. I'm just going to take regular copy paper and I just lay this on top just because in case there is any kind of ink that could bleed through and get on your heat press. Now I will go ahead and lock this down and it will count down our time. And when it's done, it will beep at me. I'm going to grab another kind of mask and show you a different one. So it's counting down. It gets to a couple seconds, it'll give me a warning. And then this pops open. I just kind of hold it to keep it from flying open. Now, when you take things off the heat press, it is super hot. These are doable to pick up, but just keep in mind, and that paper is sticky. You want to grab this. Even this is a little hot. So here's what we printed. Now, what I like to do is you need to lay it, I've got a wire rack right next to me for my orders. One of these like kind of utility racks. That's the best place to lay them so that they can cool down for a second. I'm gonna go ahead and pick these up straight off. You wanna be careful that it doesn't move because the ink can smear if you're not careful. The other thing I like to do is, after I've taken these off, is fold them. And that just lets me know that I've used it, because occasionally, sometimes you see a piece of paper and it looks like it hasn't been used, looks like the ink is still all there. So sometimes the paper will kind of tint a little brown, but if it's not cooked, whatever, you may accidentally pick up one that you've already used and then it doesn't print as well. So I just go ahead and fold these just so I know that they're trash. And we'll set these over here to cool. Now the other type of mask that we have, this is a polyester blend that feels like t-shirt material, okay? So the best thing I found on these, there was a tip, is using a mouse pad. So this is actually a mouse pad that I can print on, so I can actually print images on this also, but I use this as a pressing pad. Because when you do any type of heat pressing, whether you're using vinyl, sublimation, or whatever, you want to have even pressure. So on these particular masks, see this little ring right here? It's just raised slightly. It's not a ton, but it does make a difference. So I use this to lay under the mask, okay? And I can stretch this just ever so slightly. So what I did to make this is I took the mouse pad and I laid this mask on it and I traced around it. You can actually get 2 templates out of 1 mouse pad. And now I've got it kind of pressed over that. See how it kind of, but it's nice and flat and smooth. So it gives me a really nice pressing surface. So this is a great little tool to have. So you can kind of, you shape this to the mask that you're using. Some of the masks come in multiple sizes. I just have one, so you may need to make more than that. But the mouse pads are pretty inexpensive. You know, the sublimation mask that you order, and then you get 2 of these, so you have a nice little pressing pad. Now, another little tip is the mouse pad is a sublimation mouse pad, and it will take the ink. So what I also do is I took a piece of paper and I traced it so it would fit on here. So I put a piece of paper on my mouse pad, then I put the mask on it. That way if any ink transfers, it's just on the paper. It doesn't get on the mouse pad, because then if I want to use the mouse pad again, it doesn't get ink on the underneath side. So that's just a little tip about that. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got the mouse pad and then my paper. And I'm just going to stretch my mask to fit over it. I'm going to give it just a little warm up. It's always good to do just a few second pre-press on all of your items that you're pressing to get any kind of moisture out. And then this mask is getting a cute little gnome. actually, let's see. This on here, that needs to be turned. I gotta go check my orders that it going on this mask. 1 second. Okay, I had to make sure what is going on this mask. Sorry about that. Okay, so again, I'm going to take my image, the picture goes face down, and I just kind of look at it through the light so I can see my image and just make sure that I have it the right size. The masks are, it does have like a seam. I try to put that little seam at the bottom. I don't really think it matters, so if you have an item, it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about it as much, but obviously shirts and things like that, you do want to make sure that your design is going the right direction. And I'm going to lay this on here, lay my paper over it, and lock it down. That pressing the mouse pad does make it a little bit thicker, so you kind of got to manhandle to lock that down. But it's really nice because then you don't have to worry about those seams getting in the way. You get a really nice even press, which is very important when you're using a heat press for vinyl or sublimation, is to make sure that you have even pressure. We'll be counting down. It'll beep 3 seconds before as a warning. And now we have an adorable little gnomes on our mask. Now again, these are hot. So depending on what your item is, if you're using any type of hard surface or whatever, they get really hot, so you may need gloves. Those things, you know, apparel, I can pick them up and transfer, but they are hot, so I just want to warn you. Be careful if you're first time using your heat press for sublimation thing, especially because the temperature is 400 degrees. It's just like taking something straight out of an oven, so just be careful. But I just wanted to show you how the sublimation process works. You can do all kinds of different products with it. It's really fun. I get a lot of my sublimation blanks from Johnson Plastics. There is Hailbound, Coney Island Transfers, a bunch of different places. So I will try to put some of those links in the comments so that you have a resource. But if you have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. Would love to hear from you. And be sure you hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you in the next video.